It's time to stop an apocalypse. This is Shadow Man Remastered. We're here on Xbox Series X, where the game is providing basically a native 4K resolution. It is technically dynamic resolution scaling, but yeah, it's basically just native 4K. We get 60 FPS, and we actually get a host of other options in regards to basically changing how the game looks. So we're going to advance a little bit, show a little bit of gameplay, and then we're going to dive into those visual setting options that are present here, which again are quite cool. So there's opening cinematic bits. We get to hear about a little bit about who the character is, what the context of the world is in the scenario here, and it's actually kind of cool. And keep in mind that this is like a remastering, so the idea here is to bring back that original style and, kind of look and play that was present when the game first launched. So we've got a little bit of a textured area here, so we're going to go over to options. And first off, we'll just show game settings quickly. So you can do things like skipping for cutscenes, targeting, stuff like that, kind of head bob, so you can change these around. But the big changes here are with the display settings. So we get a huge, I don't know if we've seen too many games that give these kind of settings, a huge selection of options to customize, from HUD settings to HD textures. So we'll turn that off, and then we'll just kind of present it here. So if you want like a pure remaster of that old experience, that old experience, this would be the way to go. I mean, I don't necessarily know why you would want to go with that, but if you want that classic style, that is the option there. And then there's field of view, so you can go all the way up to like 120 here if you want to really get a sense of scope going on with the field of view. That's an option for you there. So we're going to put that back, and we're just going to go to the regular 74. Then there's, of course, brightness, gamma correction. You can have anti-aliasing. I would assume you want that on. Then we have ambient occlusion, so you can kind of turn that on and off if you want to. That's kind of going to be a personal setting if you're going to want that to be on or not. That's really up to you. Motion blur, a lot of people don't like motion blur. 16 times anastrophic, which is good for, again, keeping everything nice and sharp. Shadow mapping, so that's kind of the shadows of the world. Not a really great area to show it off, to be honest, but there are like these really kind of spooky lit areas that you might find good for shadow mapping. Film grain, again, a visual sort of choice and aesthetic here. With film grain on, I imagine that's kind of just what the intended visual experience is, so I would tend to leave that on, because just it kind of gives you that feeling. And the depth of field is a good one to have on. So you get all these different choices, which are really cool, and there's input settings as well, configure bindings, configure controller, so you want to get all these settings going, you can totally do that. So let's continue along here, and show off a little bit about this world here. So you are in a place where you are kind of, you take care of the bad, if that makes sense. Why am I having trouble? There we go. You take care of some of the bad stuff. You're the Shadow Man. That's your gig, That's what it's all about. See, they've also added 3 new levels to the game, which is kind of neat. If you want more than just, the original nostalgia, there's a little bit more. New audio is done. Really advanced upgrades over that original style. We've obviously got achievements, new rendering improvements. So like the biggest thing to note here is that this is done by a group that is just absolutely phenomenal with their efforts in regards to improving older games. Like, this is from Night Dive Studios, so if you're not familiar with them, they really do just an absolutely fantastic job upgrading these older games. Okay, here's the shadow mapping is what I wanted to kind of display. So we're going to go to that, and we're going to turn off the shadow mapping. See how there's like no shadows at all? Normally this might impact your performance, but being on the Series X, I mean, there's more than enough overhead here, and you could just see how big of a difference shadow mapping is. Like, it's kind of a big deal. just a little bit of an upgrade, right? So this is a very sort of dark and creepy game. There's some like really, kind of messed up stuff going on here, right? Like, and you're just kind of dealing with all this stuff, and that's kind of the intensity of it, and then you get these like cinematic areas, and you know the cinematics haven't held up
How could I refuse your offer?
the best, but for the time they're actually not bad. You kind of get the shape of people out and everything like that, and what they want to sort of highlight.
Read it real well. Between the lines, you'll find the signs.
You got my stuff?
Come on in, honey.
You know, on the way over here, I got to thinking about these dark souls. If they're so damn dangerous, why didn't the ancients just destroy them?
Because that's impossible. Their power is their immortality. If evil ever manages to implant these immortal souls into its monstrous slaves, can you imagine the carnage an immortal, unbeatable army would bring to the earth? That's apocalypse, Shadowman. That's the end.
Okay, so I really gotta get to the Dark Souls before the bad guy. I understand that, but where do I find him?
In Govi. Each Govi has been sealed by the most powerful voodoo. Not even the greatest Bokor or Mambo.
And we are going to go ahead and skip to get back into the action and the gameplay. So yeah, this is just the opening segment of the game, kind of teaches you the ropes. Oh, a handgun. Wow, that's going to be powerful and helpful for sure. We got 6 of those. We got teddy bear. So there's some voodoo-like abilities that you kind of take advantage of and you use for battle, which is helpful. And yeah, let's get on with the action here. Oh no, how do we get these items? It's neat how it's like a little bit trying to be realistic, but at the same time having like larger than life puzzling stuff, which is kind of fun.
Mike, use the bed. Go Deadside.
Alright, let's get rolling. Like, it feels incredible to play, like, fluidity-wise, gameplay-wise, it does actually look pretty good. This doggo is just hanging out. Fine by me. Dun, 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 dun. It's an interesting way to hold that gun, I guess, if you've got the power. But no, it's actually like a pretty neat, sort of like twisted and very different sort of game. I always appreciate going back to some of these older titles, like taking a look at them and being like, huh, this was a very interesting thing they were doing at this time.
I'm wasting my time here. I should just use Luke's bear and go Deadside.
And then we've got some water sequences. Ooh, fancy. And fish?
I'm running out of
Whoa,
air.
I thought Call of Duty popularized fish AI technology. Wow.
I'm running out of air.
It's like a little bit hard to actually get used to the fact that you have to climb and then push yourself up. Just because I'm so used to controls of today where it's like, you know, basically the characters do all the work, right? Hello, doggo. Well, what do we have here? So that was like earlier, you see where that connection was? Where that was from the earlier part of the level? Anyways, there's some secrets to find too, you know, around everywhere. You never know what you might come across. At least the doggos are friendly. But yeah, it's got that very distinct sort of like, we're moving out of the era of like, I guess you would say like triangles and stuff. Like, it's still very geometry based, but like early 3D, which is kind of neat. The alligators. Oh, and it all loads very fast too. They're they crocodiles? I don't know. Whatever they are here.
Shadowborn at the confluence of...
Yeah, you walk between the worlds, everything like that. So this is the other realm. Where things are a bit weird here. All these souls.
Hello there, Michael. How's that treating you?
Jaunty, kindly refer to me as Shadow Man. Michael Leroy has no place here in Deadside.
Whatever, Mick. It's good to see you again. Seems like simply ages since I last set me eyes on your happy, smiling mug.
The feeling's mutual.
I suppose you've been away dallying with the old battle axe, giving her one with some of that righteous voodoo so she can stay forever young?
Something like that.
She's been filling your head with her fated pillow talk again, I'll bet. Doomsday in an army giddy until you're drunk with the stuff.
She did happen to mention a certain prophetic dream she's been having.
Did she now? Well, for once I think the owl witch might be right. See that bloody big black tower yonder?
How can I miss
Is
it?
that the thing that the
Well,
architect
old
was designing at the beginning and was talking
He was
about?
just telling me the other day that he thought it looked remarkably like a picture he once did.
Is that Peter Bragel?
No, Seamus, his distant Irish cousin. Anyways, he was quite shocked, so he was, at the terrible mess that bloody thing's making. Appearing out of nowhere and tearing its way through the place like there's no tomorrow. Which, given what Nettie's saying, might not be too far from the truth.
Any idea what's going on in there?
Alright, let's get going. Try to show off, balance of the gameplay and the cinematics so you can see it in action. But as you can tell, it's a really neat looking, weird kind of game. It's actually cool that they took the time to bring this one back because it's not something I would have thought of as a remastered title. I always appreciate that.
This is the Deadside, the wasteland, the nothing beyond the...
I like the particle effects and stuff. It's kind of neat looking. Stop sucking my soul. Whoa! It's pretty cool, right? Like the particle effects and everything like that with the fire. Anyways, let's keep pressing on here.
Michael, over here! Michael, back so soon? Getting a bit too
Yeah. Sorry, buddy. We gotta get going here. So anyways, it's a classic experience. They've just upgraded it, improved a lot of things, give you a ton of visual options. Seriously, the way these guys do remasters is just so masterful. Like, if you've got any favorite things, like, they did a great job with the Turok games. It just, like, the selection of settings you get is just almost astronomical in regards to, like, just tweaking your experience, which I think is really neat. And I always appreciate when older games are, kind of restored and made available for the modern audience to enjoy. These things are so creepy. You know what I'm saying? Like, they are just spooky looking. Is that like a fountain of blood? You always gotta wonder sometimes, Alright, let's jump across here. So that's the problem with these dead places, People always trying to suck the life out of you. I just find it hilarious that they blow up into, like, red chunks and stuff. That I get a kick out of. They restore a little bit of that red pedal, you know what I'm saying? More enemies, but yeah, you get platforming, combative scenarios, the odd twist here or there. Now we'll go to the Deadlands, we'll have a laugh, fight some giant monster things, it's all good. You almost forget that you were in like a swamp like 2 seconds ago. Scary, right? Just gonna go ahead and grab some of these items too. Before we make our way around. But really neat use of like water and stuff too, right? Just kind of having you in different like spots, kind of working through it. It's really quite neat. And we got moving clouds up above. That's pretty cool. Don't want to get too sidetracked though. Exploration is fun, but
Got it.
I do have a mission. Makes the travel back and forth a little bit easier, you know? There we go.
The Lord of Deadside.
So that there, my friends, is the Soul Gate.
Looks like someone left me a note.
The prophecy. Woo-hoo. Oh, here we go. No. I was just gonna be like, oh, it's a nice ramp. There you go. But nope. Oh, what do we have over here?
I ought to go visit Nettie. This should be useful. The power of the Dark Souls. I embrace.
That's a Dark Soul. See, this game was all about Dark Souls
Too hot to handle.
before Dark Soul was a thing, right?
Yow, that burns.
It burns. Oh no. I really like the way that the like ambience and stuff is lit in this room. It's really quite neat. This whole game is kind of really cool.
Deadside.
Very different vibes.
Unsalvaged souls that drift beyond the marrow gates for an eternity of waiting.
It's like a huge maze that you can kind of get lost in with all these different tunnels. Just fascinating.